Hello guys, welcome back to another YouTube. And today we're going over my brand new Harlowe build. This is Jakobs Harlowe. It can also one-shot bosses with the spread launcher. The spread launcher, double amp, pop rev kit, double amp that thing, and you just freaking will just one-shot bosses with this spread launcher. As you can see, we did 16.5 million rads damage plus everything else. Pretty dumb stuff. Spread launcher, we all know, is broken, but you can also use the Hellwalker. Hellwalker is for like the raid bosses. It's a lot of fun to use. The Hellwalker is my favorite to use personally. Now, for like if you're going up against Radix, I would recommend like the Constable and like Corrosive. And the Constable now drops from Bloom Reaper, the Invincible. Go farm the Constable from there. I've actually gotten one from the chest at the end, which I didn't know you could because I never got one because they added it there, but I haven't farmed Bloom Reaper too much either since they've added that. So Hellwalker works really, really well. Then we're using the Gomi for mobbing. This has Ripper and shotgun ammo. You can use assault rifle ammo for mobbing, and shotgun ammo is really good too if you want to swap to it, but we're also using the truck. And this one, you're going to want shotgun mode and use it with torque impact. So this with shotgun mode and torque impact is really important. This one's max damage. This is a very, very strong gun. You can just one tap all the mobs with this gun. Pretty insane on Harlowe, and it does some pretty ridiculous stuff. And then we're also using the Hemdahl for mobbing. I know this is torque, but I wanted to include the Hemdahl because I just love the Hemdahl. You guys don't need to use the Hemdahl if you like. You guys could use the crit knife if you want to for extra damage. For Harlowe, don't really need the crit knife. So I've opted for the Hemdahl of radiation. So do we just have a bit easier time taking out mobs a bit faster so we can save a bit ammo. Assault rifle ammo is our most plenished ammo from what our weapon selection here is. You can use like the Dark Beast and the Stray if you'd like. Because these do have Jakobs on them, so these will technically work. So these are options here. I just wanted to mostly Jakobs, so that's why we're using the truck and Gomi and all that. And then for the ref kit, we're using Amp and Enrage. A triple bypass with Amp will work just fine. But Amp and Enrage on a purple order ref kit, especially if you can get one mini, is really nice for the extra benefits from Enrage. And then we're using a Jakobs enhancement. Guns with Jakobs licensed parts grant consecutive critical hits, stacking a 5% bonus damage for maximum 8 stacks. And then we get a bounce pass. Guns with Jakobs licensed parts increase the number of possible ricochets by 1. This one has gun damage and gun critical damage, which is good. Even gun mag would actually be better. Our shotgun mag would be better. So your Hellwalker get 1 extra in the mag. Because then it'd be easier to spell in the Hellwalker with 1 extra. So that's better for the Hellwalker. Make it a little bit more spammable. At times it can be hard to spam the Hellwalker with this build, but it does work. And then we're using the triple amp watch for dinner. This is just overall very nice. Get extra bonus shock damage while overshield, and we always have overshield, so that's really good. And then we're using the phlebotomist. This has 3 in sustained reaction and 4 in excited state, and this one has axial rotation and status effect damage. It always has status effect damage, but the roles you are going to be looking for is axial rotation. That is really important here. And then we're using 3 Deadeye, so you get more gun accuracy, gun critical damage, and every critical hit grants 15% more critical damage. And then we're using 1 in God Killer, so damage dealt to badass enemies is increased by 10%. And then we're using Airstrike, so you get 20% more splash radius, which is very nice. And then for the skill tree, we'll start with blue, because that is the smallest part of this build. We're using 5 in parallel circuit, so you get 30% more gun damage. 4 in periodic table flips, so you get more elemental damage. And the status effect chance, it doesn't really matter too much, but status effect chance technically does help us apply neutron decay more often, but not too super important. And then we're using 1 negative entropy so we can get down precision engineering, so we get 30% more crit. Then we're using 1 in ripple effect, so when we entangle enemy, kill an entangled enemy, you automatically entangle another enemy nearby. So this is just really nice skill. You can get your action skill back really easily that way. And then we're using 5 momentum, so you get 25% more critical damage. Whenever Harlowe entangles the enemy, she and her allies deal increased critical damage. We're using 5 in neutron decay. Whenever Harlowe irritates an enemy, the enemy she gains increased gun damage, and this effect stacks, and you get 10% gun damage per stack up to max stacks of 5. And then we're using 3 in creative overflow, so Harlowe deals increased gun damage based on her overshield. The more overshield she has, the bigger the bonus. You get up to 36% more gun damage the more overshield you have, which is really nice. You're always at max overshield. Whenever Harlowe shoots an entangled enemy, all her allies restore portion of her action skill cooldown. So this helps you cool down your action skill really fast and your allies if you're playing with teammates. And then we use a 5 in excited state. So whenever an enemy is damaged by Harlow's action skill, the next shot, the enemy automatically becomes critical hit. And then we're using 3 induced beast deflection. Whenever Harlowe and action skill damages an enemy, restores a portion of her allies' shield capacity, and if her shields are full, gain overshield instead. And then we're using 1 in acceleration, her life steal, and gain life steal with this. And then we're using Harlowe refraction. So whenever Harlowe and her allies gain ricochet chance, entangles enemies, critical hits double this chance, and ricochets have reduced damage. Not true, they seem to do more damage. And then we're using 5 in gamma ray burst. Whenever Harlowe retriggers her action skill, the next shot fired from gun drains shield and bonus radiation damage based on the amount drained, which is really nice. And then we're using 1 in Harlowe's certainty principle. You gain gun handling, which is further increased with the enemy of heavy flux generator. 4 in critical funding. Whenever Harlowe critical hits, enemy damage gains increased entanglement and refer the portion of her gun damage, which is really nice. And then we're using meltdown, so critical hits with guns deal bonus radiation damage. So you get 8% bonus radiation damage or damage dealt, which is nice. And then 1 in decoherence. Whenever Harlowe deals damage to the enemy, all force fluxer generator, it takes increased further damage. So you get 25% more damage to entangled enemies and 50% more in the flux generator. So if they're inside of your active skill, they take 15% more. And then we're using 4 in Latin charge. Harlowe deals bonus with guns, melee attacks, and axe skill while she has overshield. The more overshield she has, the greater the bonus. So this gives you up to 40% more gun damage or melee damage while you have overshield or action skill damage. And then for these specializations, we're using the best defense. You get 30% damage dealt when shields are full. Then we're using ready this, so you get 1% gun damage per stack. Then we're using contamination, so you get status effect application chance, 10% per stack. So you have more of a chance of proccing, you have a higher chance of proccing neutron decay, which is really nice. And then we're using now caffeine, so you have more action skill cooldown rate when you pop your up kit. So you don't have your action skill, and you need to get your action skill back. You pop your up kit, which is really nice. As you can see, the Hellwalker hits pretty crazy. But there you can see the Hellwalker hit for 1 million, some of those. And then we hit for what? I don't know. Thing doesn't go up all the way. It's like 2 million. For just the Hellwalker, not too many shots. So, hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.